Paper Kakashi. Bro, this shit is insane. Genjutsu is nutty. Game over, man. They're that confident. Dude. Oh. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Hope y'all are having a good day. Today we're going to be getting back into Shippuden episodes 15 and 16. Hopefully going to get the resolution of this fight versus Kasame. At least getting to see Guy Sensei in his full eight hidden gates form here. 8 hidden gates. What? I swear, man. Maybe I have like freaking I can't even recall it right now. Dyslexia? I don't know. Maybe that's a little dramatic, but I swear I always like mix up words or like letters and back-to-back words or something. I don't know, man. Like I make it into an alliteration. All you can do is laugh at yourself, right? Let's go to recap the character names from last time. We gave MVP to Kasame. Just really liked his character last time. He honestly, like, just watching him fight, it's just cool, man. I loved the him just throwing his sword in the air and then just doing the hand signals and then catching it. For some reason, that's just like smooth. Made me feel so satisfied for some reason. For the best moment, of course, gave it to the guy opening the 8 inner gates, or I guess 6 of them. But I'm assuming it's going to be the best moment in this next one, too, when we actually get to see him fight with it, which is going to be so cool, man. But yeah, I mean, all the way back in OG Naruto, and we saw Rock Lee do that against Gaara. So sick. But I've been waiting for it ever since to see it again. I'm assuming it's always going to be kind of like a rare thing, since it is like really hard on their body, and very curious to see how it actually affects Guy, like if it's going to affect Guy in the same way that it did Lee. Lastly, for the funniest moment, we gave that to the scene with Naruto and Jiraiya in their flashback when Jiraiya's trying to teach Naruto about Genjutsu, and of course Naruto's like, I want to learn it. And of course Jiraiya knows better. He knows Naruto's not going to understand it, and he starts explaining it. Naruto's like, I don't really understand it. Of course. Just your master. Good stuff, man. But yeah, I think with that being said, we can go ahead and get started here. If y'all enjoy these reactions, consider dropping a like, subscribing, commenting, rig that YouTube algorithm for me. I appreciate any support. Check out the Patreon too if you're interested. 4 weeks ahead there, uncut. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into y'all. Oh shit. Bro, what the fuck? Naruto. Dude, Genjutsu's trippy as shit, man. Oh god. I don't know why it's funny to me, dude. Dude. Truly horrifying, though. Not gonna lie. Dang, dude. This makes me very curious about Genjutsu, like, oh, like does Itachi know all this and like is manipulating it, or is it kind of like just based off the user or who he's using on, like it uses their deepest fears against them or insecurities against them? チャクラの流れを一旦止めて、もし
それでもダメだったら、現実が解けなかったら一体どうすればいいんだってばよ。
その時は諦める。運がなかったと諦めるしかないの。現実とはそういうものだからの。
Make a break.
じゃあ何のために俺は川に落ちてずぶ濡れになってんだってばよ。
じゃが仲間と一緒に行動しとるなら手がないこともない。その仲間に己の体に触れてもらい、チャクラを流し込んでもらうんだの。そうすることで己の中のチャクラの流れを乱してもらう。現実は解ける。
He's Sakura.
誰が俺にチャクラを
Gonna have to.
俺にチャクラを
Yes.
大丈夫か、ナルト。
俺ってば
現実よ。でももう大丈夫。
Dude, that shit's crazy.
だから
I wonder how much that was like happening like real time, like how quick that was.
あいつの影分身は
影分身じゃと？あやつは影分身など作っ
Dang, dude, that's crazy.
いきなり走り出して何もないところで螺旋丸ぶっ放したのよ。
螺旋丸
Probably looked really funny in real time.
あの時にはもう
こやつ同術だけではないな。
さて、いよいよ本丸だ。気合い入れてよ、ナルト。
ほら、しっかりしろ。
俺が手本を見せてやる。
Oh, good stuff. Right into the hype ass intro.
カトン、当選化の術。
かわした。
次来るぞ。カトン、豪華級の術。
Dude, jeez, man. I couldn't avoid this one. It's too hard. They just mix in the titles with the actual show now. Chidori.
ナイキ。
螺旋丸
Granny straight chilling.
なるほど。面白い術を身につけてきたものだ。だが。
やっぱ簡単にはいかねってばよ。カカシ先生の来気量を陽動に使って完全にあいつの裏をかいたはずなのに、車輪ガンは厄介だ。一瞬でこっちの動きが先読みされちまう。またかよ。カカシ先生との連携は外せねえ。その上で一発で奴を倒せる強力な術、あれを試すしかねえってばよ。
Alright, so this is where the title's coming in.
ナルトはどこ？無事なの？
Is Kakashi using the...
あいつの現術。霧隠れの術。
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, the one from Zabuza.
ずるでない。
Yeah.
じゃ、
それでは
それより霧が濃くなってゆくぞ。奴の気配から目を離すで。
Smart. Remember Zabuza used this to kind of, I guess, debuff the Sharingan to a degree, right? Like make it a bit weaker. You can't see as well.
クレの術。
Smart.
現実にかかりづらくするためには確かに効果的だが、車輪ガンを持つ私の前では意味をなさない。かくれんぼなんて子供じみた遊びはやめにしませんか、カカシさん。それもそうだな。カトン、豪華級の術。
Dude, his fireball is nuts.
なるほど、さすがカカシ先生だってばよ。
Ooh.
豪華級。しかしさっきから何か。
Paper Kakashi. Bro, this shit is insane. Genjutsu is nutty.
まさかカカシ先生 現実に
Intentionally, of course.
さすが術の使いどころがうまい。一旦怒涛で姿を消したので気づくのが遅れてしまった。道理で現実に手応えがないはずだ。影分身。
Oh, let's go, dude. Shit's hype right now. Ooh! Let's go, dude.
あれって。
ああ、勝負ありです。
Game over, man. They're that confident. Jeez. Okay, so he kind of used it short term, it seems. Wow.
終わったようじゃな。
Hmm.
俺の影分身ごとやれ、ナルト。
分かってるってばよ。螺旋岩の改良？
うん、そうじゃ。
それよりさ、新しい術を。
お前の今の螺旋岩で十分だと思っとるのか？オロチマルの連れのメガネとやり合った時のことを思い出してみろ。
ダメだってば。動く相手じゃ簡単には当たんねえ。
そこで次にお前の
Yeah, it's got a lot of weaknesses still.
これで逃がさねえで済め。
あの時と同じように敵に立ち向かうたびに手に穴を開けるつもりかの？
だからさ。
He's like, yes, please, I would.
気で言っとるのか？まさか忘れたわけではあるまいの。螺旋岩はあの四代目火影の残した術だということをの。
別に忘れてない。
螺旋岩は四代目が完成させた術だ。お前自身の術にしてみろの。螺旋岩にさらに磨きをかけ、お前オリジナル術に改良する。
I like that. Mold it to your own strengths and weaknesses, which he's already kind of done to a degree, like to make it his own. Like he uses the shadow clone and stuff, right?
巨大なチャクラを利用して螺旋岩をさらに敵に当てやすくする。まさしくお前だけのオリジナル螺旋岩。
俺だけのオリジナル螺旋岩。
それ
He likes the sound of that.
により多くのチャクラを練り込む必要がある。しかしそれが完成すればお前の最強の武器になるだろうの。預けて。
大玉螺旋岩。
Dude. Oh.
こやつ。
Were Naruto's eyes red there? I have to go back and look at that.
今の笑いは。
確かどこかで戦ったような気もするんだが、
どうなっているんだ。
こいつを
これは。
途中から変な感じはしていたんだが、
どういうことだってばよ。
術か何かね。
これは一体どういうことなんでしょうか。
Huh?
だが一つ言えるのは、この男やっぱり知らん。
Interesting. So like substituted them out or something? Or like they were disguised?
ユーラ、うちの里の上人だ。
Dude. Interesting. Trying to think what that means. Like, is that Sasori's jutsu? Or is it combination of another Akatsuki members?
どういうことです？
わしにもわからん。ただ、こやつはガーラが連れ去られるぜ。
もしかして暁のスパイだったのかも。
4年も上役を務めたこやつがな。
4 years. Wow.
変化の術で化けていたんでしょうか。
いや、そんなレベルの術ではない。
豪華級の術は内派一族が編み出した術で好んでよく使う。
カトン、豪華級の術。
本物だった。
Interesting. I want to know.
そちらも終わったようですね。
ああ、チャクラ切れだ。
まあ、生贄に与えたチャクラも3割程度でしたしね。
Jeez.
たちの同一体を作り出す便利な術とはいえ、切り渡したチャクラの分量は大したことないですからね。それに比例して力も使える術も限られてくる。
だが、足止めはもう十分だろう。
術が解けたか。しかしかなりの時間稼ぎはできた。俺なら十分だ。よくやったイタチ。キサメ。
簡単に言ってくれる。あんたの術の生贄になって奴らに体を捧げたのは足り。
Okay, so it's the leader's jutsu.
逆に感謝してもらいたいぐらいだが、二人ともこの俺の昇天の術で少しの間でも暁のメンバーになれと。
You honored them.
そうそうか。
こいつの目的は俺たちの足止めと情報収集といったところか。
よし、急ぐぞ。こっちじゃ。
I don't know. I'm pretty worried, man.
これは明らか
I mean, they're exact copies, but only 30% of their chakra.
私の知らない間にナルト、あんたはこんな奴らを相手にしてきたの？
こんな術まで使って足止めをかけに来たということ間違いない。奴らはすでに美獣を引き剥がしにかかった。
Okay, Granny. Okay, Bonchon.
早くガラ君を助け。
Gigi.
美獣を引き剥がすって？
おそらく奴ら一尾の資格で新たな人中力を作るつもりじゃ。
人中力？
説明したな。美獣は人知を超えた力を持っておると。そして各国はそれを軍事利用しようとしたと。中力とはいわばその力をコントロールする存在じゃ。
Okay.
じゃあ
美獣は莫大なチャクラの塊で、任海大戦期には各国隠れ里が軍事利用しようと競って手に入れようとしたものじゃ。しかし人知を超えたその力を制御することなど誰にもできなんだ。結果的にはな。じゃがかつて人はその力をコントロールしようとしたのじゃ。美獣を人に封印することでな。
There it is, man.
力を抑え込み、その力を支配しようとした。
Naruto understands that real well.
そして美獣を封印されたもの、つまりガーラのようなものを人中力と呼んだのじゃ。人中力は美獣と共鳴し、信じられぬ力を使えるのが特徴で砂の歴史にはこれまでガーラを含め3
Oh, okay, that's cool.
出現した。
Man, I love all the jutsu techniques, man. They're so cool.
飲むぞ。
So unique. Robotic carrier pigeon or toy-like.
その人中力を使って何度も戦争したのね。
そうじゃ。
それじゃあ人中力にされた人は？
Used as weapons.
その美獣を取り出せるんですか？
瞬間的にでも美獣の力と釣り合うだけの考慮術とかなりの時間を要する。だがそれをしてしまえば人中力を。
まさか。
そうじゃ。美獣を抜かれた人中力は死ぬ。
Okay, so we already know that two Jinchurikis probably died then, if they already extracted the tails from them.
さっき言った二人、ガーラ以外の砂の人中力はいずれも体内より主核を抜かれ、それが原因で死ぬ。
So it's not the first time people have extracted them too. Okay. It's nothing new for the Akatsuki to do this.
相変わらず涙もろいんだな、さくらちゃん。心配すんなって、ガーラは俺が助けっから。
私はナルト、あんたのこと。
急ぐってばよ。
姉ちゃんからか。
Conqueror on his feet. Bruh, get back in bed, dude.
がない。体に触る。大丈夫。歩くだけならどうってことね。千代ばあ様から連絡が入ったそうじゃん。じっとしてられるか。そうか。お前の耳にも入っていたか。実は千代様からの連絡で大変なことが分かった。ユーラがスパイだと？信じられん。上役を4年も務めた男が。だが、これで辻。
Yeah, it's honestly insane. 4 years to be under that like technique where he's like mind manipulated.
警備責任者が敵のスパイだとは誰も予想していなかっただろうからな。ガーラが風影になるときに全員の身元は徹底的に洗ったはずなのによ。
おそらく当人は何かしらの術つられとったに過ぎぬのじゃ。
それよりいつになったらガーラは帰ってくるんだ。五大国の風影ともあろう者がノブセリの類にさらわれたとあっては他国に示しがつかぬぞ。それにじゃ相手の一人はあの赤砂のサソリということじゃないか。他国に知れたら恥さらしもいいとこじゃ。風影の行方不明が知れれば近隣諸国がまたいつ干渉してくるかもわ。
Damn.
風影を
Throwing everything out of balance.
里の安定のために努めるのが急務だ。まだガーラが帰ってこないと決まったわけではない。まあ帰ってこぬ方が里にとって都合がいいというのも事実だが。痛いのです。ガーラは一尾を宿しておる不安定な化け物。風影に祭り上げれば奴をコントロールしやすいとは思ったが、所詮いつまた暴走するやもしれぬ。厄介なものには間違いない。
Dude, fuck this guy, man.
一尾主覚と共鳴こそしたが完全とは言えぬ不安定な実験体じゃ。かつて父である四代目自ら暗殺の命まで下した失敗作でもある。今の若い連中の中には何も知らず
Blindly.
尊敬する者もいるが、
Ugh. I want to smack this fool.
ただ恐れ何も期待などしておらぬのも事実だ。ん？それ以上くだらねえこと言ってみろ。和訳とはいえ許さねえぞ。
100%. No, he's base, dude.
ここは神聖な場所だぞ。
勘九郎よ、お前の怒りももっともじゃが、そやつの言うことにも一理ある。ただ事態はガーラを信頼するしないの問題ではないのだ。
Yeah, sit down, fool.
これと同じことがあった。三代目風影がさらわれたのだ。その時はその三代目の所在をめぐり様々な憶測が流れ、戦争が起き、国々が荒れた。三代目探しに躍起にならず、里の平定に。
So I'm assuming all those are those statues the Kazekages, or were they all the ones that had the Shukaku in them?
三代目風影は歴代の中でもずば抜けて強かった。そして何より死体が出てこなかった。あれほどの方がそう簡単にやられるはずがないと誰しもが思ってしまったのだ。あのようなことは二度と起こしてはならんのだ。だからとにかく今は里を一番に考えるべきなのだ。それで国境の警備を。前は三代目探しに奔走している隙を突かれて一気に国境を破られ、里は大混乱に陥った。
Yeah, so it kind of hits a little too close to home, this situation.
何もわざわざ手まりでなくても勘九郎、何を言う。本来なら前にもその任についてもらおうと思ったのだぞ。それを毒などにやられおって。
Got yourself poisoned.
揃って国境警備の任についておれば若い連中も風影奪還などと馬鹿げたことを言い出さぬだろうからな。手まりが派遣されたのは以前にも何度か敵の侵入を許した場所だ。常人以上の忍びが出向く必要が。
Okay, so she is Jonin.
分かってるけどよ。けどガーラは俺の弟じゃん。
Man, does the audience feel like we all can empathize with Konkuro here, man? Like, just, you know, all the councilies or whatever, the elders, they'll have decent points, especially considering their history now, but like, damn. It's just, you can't like just like let your emotions, you know, put them down like that when it's your brother or someone you like or care about.
春の桜、九尾の陣中域、渦巻きナルト、それに砂の相談役千代のフォーマンセルだ。
千代バーだと。
まだ十分に大玉螺旋丸を使うのには慣れてないようだな。
Yeah.
さすがに啓門まで開いただけあって
They're going into this with like, they're all tired, bro, and they're gonna have to face at least Sasori and Deidara, right? That animation, dude. Oh my god, dude.
無理もない。朝クジャクを使った直後だ。どこかで休んだ方がいいな。
あそこだ。本当にこんなところを警備して意味があるのですか？
命令は命令だ。これより24時間交代で警備に当たる。
取れ。
どうしたんだってばよ、カカシ先生。
ここでしばらく休憩を取る。
賢明な判断じゃな。
なんでだよ。時間がないって言ったのはカカシ先生じゃねえか。ところで休憩なんかしてたらガーラが。
イタチの偽物と遭遇する前に比べて明らかにペースが落ちている。
その通りだわ。
ここで休憩して疲れを取った方が最終的に目的地に早く着く。それに明日はガーラを連れ去ったやつとやり合うことになるかもしれない。体調は万全にしといた方がいい。
For real, bro. Oh, man, this arc just has me like nervous constantly. Not this dude again. They told us, oh, this is the Zets guy, right? Zetsa? Or Zets? I don't know how to pronounce it. Is he eating him? That went fast, man. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and move forward the review section here. Another cool set of episodes where we get, you know, more, well, I mean, small questions answered, but it always leads to more. Shippuden's been doing a great job of that, man. It's been very intriguing to kind of get little tidbits like last episode's kind of, you know, Kakashi talking about Itachi's eyes weakening. This one getting like information about the Kazekages and other Jinchurikis, and you know, just in general, it's bringing up more and more questions or expanding things in the lore of the world. It's very, very exciting to watch this so far. Once again, I want to comment on Genjutsu. Really liked seeing more of it here with Itachi. It's honestly pretty damn creepy and terrifying, at least the way that Itachi does it. And kind of funny too, when Sakura came out of Naruto's belly, I thought like he was having a baby or something. That's why I started cracking up. But I mean, in reality, it's quite terrifying. You know, it kind of really reminds me of you know, some other fantasy shows I've seen, right? Like or movies or stories, media in general. For example, in Harry Potter with Voldemort, and the way that he would kind of try to infiltrate people's minds and kind of take over their minds or show them different visions and stuff. It also really reminds me of the Aragon series. I think it's called, the official name is the Inheritance series. I don't know if any of y'all read that growing up, but it was one of my favorites. And in that world, in the magic system, like one of the biggest components of it was like trying to infiltrate your opponent's mind, and you had to train yourself to like put up walls and barriers around your mind to kind of keep them out. And the strongest magicians were usually the best at infiltrating people's minds. So kind of like Genjutsu reminds me of that system to a degree, with really being able to you know, have an upper leg on like really powerful foes if like you can overpower them with your Genjutsu, and like use that kind of like cerebral you know, kind of attacking method if like that's kind of like your type of jutsu. It also just makes me really curious about, you know, how long the Genjutsu lasts. Like this situation with Naruto here, like, you know, it's not the same as the Shadow Realm Genjutsu that Itachi is using in the past, where everything flashes by in a second and like you're there for like not years, but a long time, where you're getting stabbed continuously. In this situation, it seems like all this kind of happens somewhat instantaneously, or, you know, pretty quickly. And it makes me curious about like, you know, what the ratio for the time is, right? In real time, how much time is passing in reality versus what's going on in Naruto's head. Also, what's the perspective of the Genjutsu user, right? Can Itachi attack or move his body while he's using Genjutsu? Or is he like left vulnerable? It seems from, context clues that it probably depends on the Genjutsu. Like, I would imagine that maybe, Itachi should be able to defend himself, or also be kind of risky to use Genjutsu in situations where it's like 1v4. But yeah, it's just so many questions kind of going in my head about, kind of the power system and the boundaries of it. We also get to see a couple new powers in general. We get to see Guy Sensei with, I'm not going to try to pronounce the name of it, but the attack he uses with the 8 inner gates absolutely blows Kasame, completely defeats him at that point. There's a huge blow, and I really love how like Neji and Rock Lee and Tenten were all like, oh, it's over now. They're all so confident. Makes it always like much more reassuring and fun to watch when you know that someone's about to pop off. And then we also get giant Rasengan, which I guess, Naruto had to try to train up with the help of Jiraiya from, for trying to like make it a little bit more practical to use, so people can't just like dodge Rasengan as easily. So it makes a lot of sense to do that, although as you can see, it uses up a lot of chakra. And Naruto is really tired afterwards. You see Guy Sensei is really tired after using like the 8 inner gates, or 6 of them. Pretty interesting. Like, it's good that there's some balance with it. I'm imagining as Naruto, trains this more, he'll become more adept at like being more efficient with the chakra, and he'll be able to use more giant Rasengans without tiring himself out. We'll have to see on that front, but pretty interesting scene, especially like the explosion part of it. It was huge compared to like what a regular Rasengan is, so pretty dope. Oh yeah, and then also one thing with the giant Rasengan, like after Naruto uses it, Itachi like smiles. Little small detail there. And yeah, I'm kind of curious on what that was for. On one part, I think the most obvious is that, this is the part where it gets revealed that it's not actually Itachi. It's, an impersonation jutsu for both him and Kasame. And they're just, Itachi's case, it's the Sand Village ninja, the captain, was it Yuta or Yura or something? And for Kasame, it was some other guy that we hadn't met before. But that smile, that little smirk, it makes me either think, hey, yeah, he's just smirking because Naruto thinks he got the best of him, kind of thing, and he's about to get a reality check here, or maybe he's like impressed by the giant Rasengan potentially. It could be small details like that. So I don't know, man. I feel like I'm like trying to like microanalyze Itachi's character just because he's so interesting, and I don't know, the whole backstory of the Uchiha clan is always something that I'm trying to like look for those small details, because it is so cryptic in the way the author has kind of slowly given us more information about Itachi and his character. But speaking of that impersonation jutsu, like definitely really, really powerful. I guess Itachi and Kasame only gave 30% of their chakra, so that kind of puts it into perspective of how strong they really are when 1-to-1 copies of them with 30% of like their reserves and energy were able to hold Guy Sensei and Rock Lee and all them, and Kakashi and Naruto, with only 30% of the reserves able to hold them for that long. Now obviously they ran out of their chakra eventually and pushed kind of Guy to use one of his best abilities, or assume his best ability, and obviously Kakashi and Naruto were pushed pretty far, so kind of shows once again the power scaling to a degree of how strong Kasame and Itachi is. And just speaking about the impersonation jutsu, that's a pretty interesting technique. Reminds me of the reanimation jutsu from Orochimaru a little bit, but very different too, right? Like you're impersonating a live body, but it seems like you're using somebody who's dead. Actually, it is very, very similar. Yeah, I guess instead of reanimating a dead person, you're kind of just reanimating an alive person. And so in some ways, they're very similar because you're kind of like, they both use the same techniques. I don't know if one's supposed to be stronger than the other, but at least with the impersonation jutsu, it's more about, hey, I can like, clone, or not clone, but impersonate somebody who's alive, one of my allies. Like imagine just having to face 2 Itachis at once or something. And like, even if you split their chakra reserves, it'd be pretty interesting having to face 2 of the same type same persons or same shinobi. You know, you can probably be really creative with that jutsu. So yeah, the leader of the Akatsuki seems to be quite the opponent with this jutsu technique, and also just the technique that they're using right now with them all kind of like like virtually being in the same spot. He seems to be very much like a utility based kind of shinobi or jutsu user. I think the most, you know, interesting part or intriguing part to me of these episodes was a lot of the exposition we got around the Jinchuriki and the past Kazekages. We pretty much get confirmation that Jinchuriki means that it's a somebody who holds one of the tailed beast powers. So you know, that makes sense why they've been referring to Gaara as that in Naruto, and I guess these other Jinchurikis who they've captured in the past. And they also confirm that, you know, the way to extract the tailed beast is through like a sealing technique and kind of balancing the power of the Jinchuriki and the tailed beast while they're you know, kind of extracting that power. But what, you know, this isn't the first time it's happened in history. It's always been kind of like a thing, I guess. And if it does get extracted from you, the holder or the Jinchuriki dies. So obviously a lot on the line here with Gaara. I think it's kind of safe to assume that the two other Jinchurikis that the Akatsuki have captured in the past are probably already dead, and they've had them extracted already. I don't know. We'll have to see on that. It makes me very, very curious about where those Jinchuriki came from. Are they from other villages? Are they kind of rogue ninjas? You know, where exactly were they from? They did say that they're not as strong as Gaara, so kind of interesting on that front. But yeah, dude, it's a lot to think about, especially around the dialogue we get with the Kazekages as well, right? Like they say that the Sand Village had 3 Jinchurikis, and the 2 others outside of Gaara all had their the Shukaku extracted, right? Like who was it extracted by? Was it an organization like the Akatsuki? Was it like an opponent? Was it someone within the Sand Village itself? You know, lots of lore to kind of unpack here. And then kind of while all that exposition is going on, we get flashes to the Sand Village and the council talking about, you know, kind of the progress on retrieving Gaara and, you know, the risk of not electing a new Kazekage, and even going as far to be like, hey, Gaara's too risky to just go after right now. Let's just elect a new Kazekage. And they kind of go along this lines of the third Kazekage who had gone missing at one point. He had gotten kidnapped, and they went after him, but they were left exposed, and a big war broke out at that point. I'm wondering if that was like around the same time period as, you know, like the Great Ninja War, whatever they've been kind of referring to throughout the series to a degree, the time of like Jiraiya and Kakashi, Tsunade, etc., where there was a lot of war and there's been peace for a long time now. I'd imagine that's the case because the 4th Kazekage was Gaara's father. I don't know what number Gaara technically is now. Maybe it's the 5th, or maybe there was one in between. But yeah, it's like history is kind of repeating itself, right? Gaara getting kidnapped. You know, the Sand Village is kind of scared. It's almost like a bad omen, right? And we've been getting the sense of that with some of the other episodes, with, you know, glasses breaking and Tsunade winning the lottery, stuff like that. But yeah, it makes me very curious about the 3rd Kazekage, because they said that the body was never found, and he was like abnormally strong too. So it seems kind of strange. I'm very curious about it. Like, there's part of me that off the bat is like sus about it, right? Where I'm like, what if the Kazekage just like left and like betrayed his village and like started, it was like a plot in this war, right? You know, you never know with all these jutsu techniques too, like the impersonation jutsu, or the jutsu technique that Sasori uses to like erase people's memories and like use them as pawns to a degree. Like maybe the Kazekage could have been something like that, and he wasn't aware until he came into contact with somebody. He's like, oh, time to dip, and then he just like went off, you know, was never seen again. All those kind of things are so interesting to think about with this world and the power system right now. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the character ratings for MVP. I feel like I could give it to multiple different characters in this episode. I could give it to Guy for his sick move. I could give it to Naruto for, you know, the giant Rasengan. But I'm going to give it to the Akatsuki leader. I mean, I think he's the leader. He's kind of the one who seems to be running the show. He's the one who seems to have the jutsu technique to like virtually bring them all there. And he's definitely the one who has the impersonation jutsu. But yeah, the impersonation just feels very strong, very useful. It reminds me so much of Orochimaru's reanimation jutsu. I'm sure there's some stark differences, obviously, between bringing someone back from like the dead and reanimating them versus, you know, impersonating someone in like that's alive right now. Big difference, but in some ways, you know, kind of similar and definitely very, very useful, especially if there's not as like many conditions as there is for the reanimation jutsu, where, you know, you have to have a sacrifice, although it does seem like with this one you have to as well, since we saw like the captain and some other people there. But yeah, it just seems like a very useful ability. And honestly, I like the Akatsuki, or this, I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if he's a leader, but I'm going to keep calling him that until I find out otherwise. But I like his character design. I like his voice right now. He seems like he's going to be a pretty important character moving forward. For the best moment, I'll give that to Naruto and the giant Rasengan. Pretty cool stuff. I want to see it like when they put a lot of budget in the animation. You can tell in these episodes, and it's not bad animation, but you can tell it's pretty streamlined for what they're trying to do. The coolest part of it though was the actual explosion. Like, it was huge. It was like a giant crater afterwards. So I'm excited to see kind of how the Rasengan grows as Naruto adopts it more. I liked the conversation I had with Jiraiya about continue to make it his own, right? Like the fourth Hokage, you know, kind of perfected it from his standpoint, but like Naruto, even though it got passed down to him, he needs to find ways to, you know, adopt it in his own ways to, you know, kind of maximize it for his potential. And then lastly, for the funniest moment, we'll give that to Guy as, you know, they're jumping through the trees and they're calling him out for being tired, and he's like, nah, I'm good, and then smack. The animation of his eyes popping out. Oh man, too good, man. But yeah, I think that'll do for these episodes. If y'all enjoy this one, let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. Rig that algo for me. Would love that. Love y'all being here to support the channel, and hope y'all enjoyed this one. And yeah, hope you have a good rest of your week, and I will catch you for the next episodes. Peace.